Hello, world. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Monday, June 8th, and I'm going to tell you, there is nothing like New York State in the summer. It's absolutely beautiful out, and we have a big show for you today. We're broadcasting live, of course, on Rumble. We're live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV. We are live on Substack, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and of course, we are live on TikTok, an amazing TikTok audience, over 580 live viewers right now, which is amazing. You guys are awesome, and they have a little bit of the behind-the-scenes look at the SJ Show. I go live a little bit early on TikTok, and the Shannon Joy Show, independent, nonpartisan, not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser. The news cycle is insane. I'm white-knuckled on the roller coaster along with all of you battling the Uniparty in Washington, D.C. And we certainly are dealing with cartels, the mob, the mafia, the criminal activity in plain sight coming from Washington, D.C. right now under the Trump administration is frankly breathtaking. And we have a big show for you guys today. In a moment, I'm going to welcome our amazing audience and our live chatters on Rumble. We'll also welcome the live chatters on YouTube as well. Before we get started, if you guys are watching and you like this show, we grow organically. The Shannon Joy Show doesn't get help from any of the algorithms, and so it's just up to all of you. So if you like this show, please give us a thumbs up, a comment, join those live chats, say hello. I love seeing new faces, new names on all of the live chats, and I'm going to be answering your questions. We're going to be engaging in just a little bit, but we do have a lot to get to today. If you can see in the show notes, today's headline as we launch the week, Trump's billionaire welfare queens. All right, that's the story. That's the bottom line. We are looking at cronyism, corporatism, quasi-fascism, full-scale fascism, criminal activity, pumps and dumps, insider trading. We have Jared Kushner, who's married to Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, sparking a full-scale revolt in Albania. We'll talk about that in a moment because the Epstein or the island deal that they're trying to broker, we talked about this a little bit last week, looks a little bit like Epstein Island 2.0. And this is turning out millions into the streets of Albania, a full-scale revolt. And it's wonderful to watch because, as I mentioned, these people are criminals. And it's not just isolated to the Trump administration. We've been dealing with Uniparty criminals really for the past 25 years here in the U.S. It's only gotten the most blatant in these first 2 years of the Trump presidency, 2025 and 26. And we have a lot to go through today, a lot. So the headline, basically, Trump's billionaire welfare queens, we are going to explore how America's poor, working poor, middle class, and even upper middle class are funding Trump's children, his family, his cronies, the mega rich, tech fascists, Israel, and more. As I mentioned, we're dealing with the mob, the mafia, organized crime, cartels. And we have so many examples of it. There are just too many. There are too many. There are dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of examples of the crime in plain sight that is happening as they plunder this country. And they crush the American dream. They crush the dream of home ownership and property for young Americans. They're crushing us with taxation and tariffs, the hidden tax of inflation. They are stealing opportunities from average Americans. And it's horrifying to watch. I have 3 kids. I have a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 14-year-old. They need opportunity. They need our Constitution. They need the Bill of Rights. They need freedom. They need liberty. And as a mom, I'm just not going to let this go. And I'm very heartened to see that more and more people across the United States of America are standing up and speaking out and calling a spade, ditching the partisan politics. It's not about left, right anymore. It's not about Democrat or Republican anymore. It is the Uniparty, and they work together in tandem, right? Joe Biden handed Donald Trump the football, and here we are. It only gets worse. They call it stakeholding when it's actually a shakedown. We have the Open AI Sam Altman story. He's shaking us down again. They want to invest Americans, your 401k, your pension, your savings, your retirement, in the crumbling infrastructure of AI as countries across America and the globe are ditching AI because it sucks and it doesn't work and it's too expensive and it just creates slop and more work. Okay, companies from McDonald's to Pizza Hut to Taco Bell. We have Uber now ditching AI. Starbucks has just realized that humans count cups better than AI can count cups. They're ditching AI as well. As the wheels fall off of the AI jalopy, the tech fascists and the tech bros are going to try to dump their crappy businesses and their industries on the American people via their retirement accounts in the most epic rug pull, pump and dump we will ever see if it goes down. But luckily, more and more people are waking up to this. We're going to look at that. They call it a backstop when it's actually a bailout. They call treason a strategic partnership with Israel. Synchronization, we're going to talk about the National Defense Authorization Bill and Section 224 of the NDAA, which is fusing the Israeli military and government with the United States military and government in an unholy alliance that will be very difficult to pull back, if not impossible. It is so bad that Thomas Massie, in a recent interview with Redacted, called it treason, and I agree. We have a summary of a Guardian article and an op-ed by Eli Clifton and Ian Lutstick on this. It is a disaster, and they're trying to bury it in a must-pass National Defense Authorization Agreement, and it's bad. It's really bad. These are all linked to the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. So everything that we discussed today will be featured in those show notes. And so we're going to get through all of it. But yeah, they're calling it a strategic partnership and synchronization with Israel and their military operations. It's insane. You're going to fall off your chair when I tell you about what is in this Section 224 of the NDAA. We got to stop it. And luckily, there is a growing coalition of sane and ethical members of Congress led by Tom Massie on his way out. So he lost his primary to the swamp, the Washington, D.C. Trump-led AIPAC swamp, creature in Kentucky. We reported on that. We were there on the ground for that. But I like this Tom Massie even more than I liked the original Tom Massie. Tom Massie, on his way out the door with 7 months left, just calling balls and strikes and going scorched earth is like the best Tom Massie. And he is promising to not waste the next 7 months. And he's building a coalition. We're going to keep a very close eye on the coalition that Tom Massie is building in the next 7 months. There are Democrats in this coalition led by Ro Khanna. There are conservatives, fiscal conservatives, Tea Party conservatives in this coalition led by Tom Massie. And they're going to make a lot of trouble for the DC Uniparty. They're going to make a lot of trouble for people like Chuck Schumer and Mike Johnson and the people who have been working together, Democrats and Republicans, to absolutely fleece the American people, lie to us, abuse us, and crush the American dream. This is going to be exposed by Tom Massie in the next 7 months. And after that, sky's the limit on what he can do with this growing coalition of Americans who are shedding the two-party political labels. They understand that the Democrats and the Republicans are working together, and they're crushing this country, and we need to stop them. So we are going to be very closely following that coalition of Democrats and Republicans who are waking up to what is really going, the criminal cartel that exists in Washington, D.C. So we have a lot to get to. Sam Altman of Open AI, as I mentioned, he's begging for another government handout while they hand out tiny little equity stakes, they're calling them, to we the little people in our retirement accounts so that we can all share in their $1 trillion losses. This is in relation to AI as it's crumbling. And more companies are ditching AI because it doesn't work and it's too expensive. They now have to figure out a way to dump this on the backs of the American taxpayers. And this is they're coming directly for your pensions and your 401ks and your retirement accounts. So we have this piece from Zero Hedge, which is also linked in the show notes of today's show. Sam Altman pushes for a plan for backdoor government backstop by handing out small equity stakes to Americans. They want us to invest in their dirty deals, in their worthless companies, mainly because they just want to pull the rug out from underneath us. So we're not going to let them get away with it. We're also going to do a shallow dive on Jared Kushner today, who, as I mentioned, his $1 billion land deal. So Ivanka channeling Marie Antoinette and let them eat cake, completely tone deaf to the plight of the American people, the job situation, crushing inflation, the end of the American dream of home ownership as they manipulate the markets to raise prices, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which is going to place pressure on energy, skyrocketing energy prices, skyrocketing food prices. I mean, you name it, all of it. But, Ivanka is super, super pumped about her private island off the coast of Albania. That deal is getting an enormous amount of scrutiny and a full-scale revolt in Albania. I don't have a video. I should have grabbed one. I don't have a video of the uprising, but oh my gosh, rolling protests, millions of people turning out. They want nothing to do with Jared Kushner and Ivanka and their $1 billion land deal. And I have all of the details on that as well. This operation looks like Epstein Island 2.0. And JP Sears has a great video. We're not going to watch the entire thing, but it's 16 minutes long where he does a deep dive on Jared Kushner, who Jared Kushner is, who his dad is, who he associates with, and the outsized amount of power that he has. He's an unelected official. He's the son-in-law to President Donald Trump, married to Ivanka, and he's a bad dude, a very bad dude. Now, unfortunately, here in the U.S., because we have the left-wing media and the right-wing media, no one in America gets the actual news about how bad both Democrats and Republicans are. And so we can't have uprisings like the ones in Albania. But hopefully we can, as more and more people wake up and as more and more of you share the Shannon Joy Show out to everyone you know and help this show to grow. The more people are going to wake up here in the U.S. And we really do need our own peaceful, of course, revolution. But we need to find each other, Democrats and Republicans, old, young, left, right, male, female, black, white, all of us, shed all of the partisanship and all of the dividing lines that they've built for us over the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And remember what unites us, because we're going to have to go up against this monster in Washington, D.C. And I'm calling for everything but the kitchen sink. We need a full-scale revolution. Peaceful, of course, but we need to revolt here in the United States through organization, tax revolts, boycotts, boycotts, right? Organization, bottom-up resistance, refusal to comply with unjust laws, peaceful non-compliance, demonstrations, you name it, everything but the kitchen sink we need to deploy peacefully in this country to fight back against these sinister characters. And Jared Kushner is one of those people. Great piece or great video by JP Sears, and he makes me laugh. So love JP. He's been fantastic recently. We're going to run that video. And this also in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show, the Pentagon just raised the espionage threat from Israel, by the way, to critical, right? So Israel, full-scale report from the Pentagon, accusing Israel of spying on the Trump administration and the negotiators with Iran. They're supposed to be our partners, but rather than cutting ties with Israel and maybe not sending them all this money to wage war in the Middle East and go after countries that pose no threat to them. No, we are now, as I mentioned, facing a Congress that is trying to ram Section 224 of the NDAA down our throats to lock America into permanent war funding and full military industrial fusion with Israel. So Tom Massey has been speaking out against this. Again, as I mentioned, he called it straight up treason. And I have a couple videos from him as well. And it's bad. Orwellian, gaslighting, it's all happening on our dime. We, the people, the United States of America, through a variety of ways, are paying for this. And we're paying with our freedom and our liberty as well, because they're crushing it. They're crushing it. So we're going to get to all of that today. All of those stories are linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. So glad to have all of you guys on TikTok. Hey, Big Dog, great to see you. And Roll Tide, great to see you as well. Lots of comments on the TikTok. You guys are great. How about the billions of dollars pissed away in Ukraine, asks Mike. Hey, Non, great to see you as well. Endless war forevermore. Donald Trump ran on ending endless war. Instead, he is doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down on endless war. They're not even calling it war. Mike Johnson had the audacity to stand up. He's the Speaker of the House. Speaking of Orwellian, the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, had the audacity to stand up and say that we're not engaging in war in Iran. There is no war in Iran. When Donald Trump is talking about ending the war, we're trying to broker the peace, which always ends in a pump and dump, right? Every single time. They're just fleecing us all the way down. It's crazy. But they're just having fun with us. They can lie blatantly right to our faces because the American people haven't quite figured it out yet. And we haven't organized enough people for meaningful revolt, but we're getting close to it. And hopefully we can be inspired by the Albanians. So we're going to talk about that as well. I want to say hello to all of you on the live chat on Rumble. Great to see you guys. If you are watching on YouTube, would love to hear from you as well. When we go to commercial break, I'll check the YouTube account and read some of your comments. We're growing on Substack, growing on YouTube, and all of these different platforms. Really going great on TikTok. 2.8 thousand views so far, which is fantastic. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate all of you. But let's hit the live chat on Rumble. Hey, Buskman, great to see you today. May God use the billions of the earth to his glory, not the glory of puny politicians and the selfish. Amen. Blessings to Shannon and friends and family. Thank you, Buskman. I appreciate you. Hey, Guitar Lily. So good to see you on the live chat. Hey, guys, if you're watching on Rumble right now, we have a big audience in Rumble, but we can probably double it. If you give us a thumbs up, follow the SJ Show right now. If you're watching and you like the show and you like our nonpartisan spin every day, we battle the Uniparty every day. Please give the show a thumbs up, like the show, comment, and join the live chat. I want to say hello to you and welcome you as well. Every time you guys do that, if you help with that chatter, we can add 50, 60, 70, 80 viewers in just a couple minutes. So it works really well. So we have HBAR36 with us on the live chat today. Hey, Guitar Lily, great to see you as well. CJP Rumble is with us. We have Be My Valentine and Zen Woman. Hey, peeps, have you caught the Jeffrey Tucker and Weston A. Price podcast collab? Let's all do a dinner club. Weston A. Price is great. We love Jeffrey Tucker. Absolutely. Oh, Future Ez, you called it for me. I have a really special treat for you guys today as we warm up for this show. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. So Future Ez, I'm not going to read your comment yet because I want to surprise all of you. Very interesting. Very interesting. Be My Valentine. Good day, beautiful. It is beautiful out. Absolutely. Like I said, there is nothing like summer in New York State. It's absolutely beautiful out. In fact, I'm going to be on summer hours. I know last week I promised you guys I was going to do a show on Friday. Friday got away from me. As you guys know, I am independently producing my show. So I don't have a producer. And the SJ show, it's really just a one-woman show. And so I had a lot of business I had to take care of on Friday, and I was just absolutely swamped. Typically on summer hours, when it gets nice out, you may or may not get a Shannon Joy show on Friday. I just keep it up in the air loosey-goosey. So I start every day around 12:15, 12:20 p.m. Eastern time. And very often I'll do a Friday show, but sometimes I just can't make it happen. So for those of you who wanted a show on Friday and I didn't deliver, I apologize. But I do have some other announcements for summer hours, because I am taking off sometime. Over the weekend, we were in Buffalo with my youngest, Teddy, 14 years old. He's a nasty volleyball player, plays indoor and beach. All my kids play indoor and beach volleyball. And so the boys, we were in Buffalo over the weekend, and the boys 14U national team for Hot Shots, that's my son's team, they won a big tournament, the Buffalo Tune-Up Tournament. It is the precursor to nationals in Orlando, Florida. And so that is happening the first week in July. I'm not going to Orlando, but right after the second week in July, mid-July, we are going to Virginia Beach, Virginia for the USA Beach Volleyball Nationals, which my son is also playing in. So I'm going to be out in mid-July, between July 13th and the 18th. I'm going to think about getting a guest host. If we can do a couple guest hosts for the show, that would be great. If you guys have any ideas, let me know, but I'm just giving you some notice on that. So mid-July, we're going to have a break 1 week. And then in August, it's not going to be a full week, but it will be a couple days. I'm taking my daughter, Mimi, to college. She's going to be a freshman. She's playing Division I beach volleyball for Austin Peay University in Tennessee. And so I'm losing my baby, my girl. I can't even think about it. I have a couple more months with her, and we're just like super, super busy. But so there are going to be a couple days in August that we're going to take a few days off for the show, just to take Mimi down to Tennessee and send her off. And then in the fall, I can breathe again, because things are super, super busy. So that is kind of the summer hours update for the Shannon Joy Show. We're going to have a lot of great shows. There's a lot to cover and discuss, but I do obviously have to take care of the family as well. This week, big week of shows. We are going to welcome into the Joy Virtual Studio tomorrow Owen Schroyer, another just fantastic independent analyst out there. We're going to have him on for a full hour tomorrow on the SJ Show. Then we have Dr. Joe Sansone. He's a psychologist, psychotherapist, and we're going to talk about political cults. And that is on Wednesday. You do not want to miss this show. He is absolutely brilliant. And we have the Trump cult, we have the Democrat cults, the Republican cults, and a lot of it. I mean, it's very important that people understand how they drag you into these cults. It's going to be a fascinating show. I've been talking with Joe about this for quite some time. So that's going to be on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have an amazing bottom-up organizer, a young woman, Ainsley Brown, is leading the fight in Georgia against the data centers. And she's racking up hundreds of thousands, millions of views on major platforms like TikTok and also X, as she is working to organize to save her mother's home. They want to take it via eminent domain for these horrifying data center projects. It's her mother's home and 3 other homes in the red state of Georgia that are on the chopping block, and she's doing unbelievable work. So we are going to have a special update on these data centers and how to fight back against them with Ainsley Brown on Thursday. So we have 3 absolutely killer guests this week. We're going to be working on Sasha Latipova and Daniel Horowitz for next week. And it's going to be, everyone is going to have to learn how to begin to revolt and rise up from the bottom up and do it in a bipartisan way. That's going to be the story of the United States of America over the next 10 years as we emancipate from the criminal cartel that exists in Washington, D.C. Both parties. No more fake elections, no more lesser of 2 evils elections, because as we know, if you vote for the lesser of 2 evils for a long enough period of time, you end up with just plain evil. And that's what we're dealing with today. And so we're going to have to figure out a different way outside of rigged elections. By the way, there's a hoopla over the gubernatorial elections or the primaries in California. Spencer Pratt, he was an ex-reality TV star that ran for governor or tried to run for governor. He's crying foul, saying that the elections are rigged. Donald Trump just got in a big fist fight, not a fist fight, but a rhetorical fist fight with a left wing. I have the video of it. He walks out, they're fake fighting on left-wing media, and he calls her a loser and she's corrupt and she's a crook and all the elections are rigged. Donald Trump himself is saying that all of our elections are rigged, except for the one that he won just a year and a half ago, right? So all the elections are rigged when they don't win. And, we've been doing this for quite some time. The American people don't trust our elections anymore. So I do think we are post-electoral. Now, that's not the end of the world. There are many, many things that we can do with the market and the culture that can fight back against these guys. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But yeah, we have to revolt. And it's not going to be at the ballot box. Doesn't mean you can't still vote. Doesn't mean that some elections are legitimate. It's just that, yeah, as you mentioned here, Sławek, great to see you on the live chat. Selection, not election. I grew up in commie Poland, and the elections here are no different than in communist countries. Yeah, great point, Sławek. I do not disagree with you at all. So, yeah, those are the updates. We have prepped you guys for big interviews coming up this week and our summer hours. Buskman, I agree with you. We have to focus on local organization and then coordinate that local organization. And as I mentioned, I'm very, very interested in what Tom Massey is building in terms of his coalition. So he has 7 months to raise holy hell in Washington, D.C. and expose all of these sinister actors along with his collaboration or his coalition of Democrats and Republicans who see things clearly in Washington, D.C. When he's out in 7 months, many are speculating, and I think it's pretty obvious that he's likely going to be running for president of the United States of America, which should also be very interesting. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that bottom-up grassroots effort, the coalition. And again, go ahead and vote if you must, but we're going to win outside of the election booth. And that's just the way that it is. Hey, Sławek, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Ollie Robin 9, great to see you. Hey, Dino Fun, great to see you. Regarding the data centers. All right, we're going to go to break in a moment. But before we go to break, I have a special treat for all of you. We have a clip here that we're going to play that I want to start out with. And, Alex Jones, he's starting to get it. As you know, Alex Jones is off the Trump train. Many people are speculating, is this real? Is he part of the razzle dazzle? Is he controlled opposition? Is he going to funnel us all to J.D. Vance in the way that Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly are doing? We have yet to see kind of where Alex Jones falls, but he's getting it right on the data centers, and he's getting really great information. This was his show that dropped over the weekend, and I have just a snippet from that with Alex Jones. I'm going to play it for you right now, and then I want to get your feedback, but just take a look at what he has to say about what's going on with the data centers, what's really going on with the data centers in the United States of America. Take a look.
This lady gets it. I've been harping on this for years.
This lady gets it.
Pick it up. Yeah, AI taking jobs in the future, but right now it's a bubble. The president's executive orders, he tried to pass legislation to give it liability protection from state and local and individuals to do whatever they want. That's so dangerous. And these data centers stealing water and jacking up the power prices and told just get out of the way. You can't have power. It's bad for the earth. You can't eat beef. It's bad for the earth. Cow farts. But AI gets whatever it wants. We have to stand up for ourselves here and say, why is everything being greased for this? And we're told roll over and die. She gets it. Bare minimum, it allows the eminent domain that is in the executive orders to take the property and the water and all it that it sits on.
Who's that?
And in the areas it comes into, mainly rural, it becomes its own city and politically takes over that entire area. The data center boondoggle. It's not about AI compute. It's about the land. Well, that's one big component nobody covers. That's a big component. It's not the whole thing, but it's a component nobody's talking about. So I saw this lady last night watching. I was
This
like,
lady.
wow, she gets it. They don't give us due process. They're above the law, eminent domain, corporate takeover. Bill Gates is buying up millions of acres of farmland and just shutting it off so you can't grow food. It's about control. It's about feudalism. It's about sitting on top of you. It's about letting a few tech companies be above the law. Here's the clip.
It's not about the data centers. Aha, there she is. It's not about AI. It's about the land. It's the physical land. It's the physical commodities, gold and silver. They know that everything that they're talking about is bullshit. They know that what matters is what you can physically hold on to. And that's why they're going after the land. They're using this entire charade in order to justify through eminent domain and government subsidies the seizure of hundreds of millions of acres of land. And it's all over the country. That's what's going on with the data centers. Daniel Horowitz has begun to uncover this. But this is the model.
It is the model. And they make sweetheart deals with local politicians, buy them off, and then they grab huge, giant areas they don't even need. And I've even heard them say, oh, don't worry, there'll be real estate deals too. It's just...
Yeah, it's the model. Your girl, Shannon Joy. That was me. He's like, this girl gets it. Someone sent that to me. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Someone sent that to me over the weekend, and they're like, Shannon, you led off. My video apparently led off the Alex Jones show. And yeah, this girl gets it. Well, I've been getting it for a very, very, very long time, Alex. In fact, I got it from the very beginning about the Uniparty. I called Trump the crook that he was the day he came down the golden escalator. And yes, I appreciate you, Buskman. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool because the truth is getting out there. And as you guys know, I don't mind. I don't care how long it takes for people to get to the truth or come to the truth. When they're in a truth space, they are going to be featured on the Shannon Joy Show. And of course, why didn't he credit you? Yeah, he probably should have credited me. He did show a picture of my tweet with the show link, but no, he didn't mention my name. He actually did, though. When he pushed out the clip, he invited me to come on his show to talk about this. He said, set it up. If you want to come on the show, I want to interview you on this. And I don't know if I'm going to do that. It'd be a huge audience. It'd probably be a great way to introduce the Shannon Joy Show to a much, much, much larger audience. But I'd actually rather interview him. I think if they reach out, I'm not really going to pursue it. But if they do reach out, I think I'm going to say, why don't you let me interview Alex Jones? Because I have a lot of questions. Buskman, as long as the message gets out. Yes, CJP Rumble. Well, I'll leave it up to you guys on the live chat. Do you think there is an invitation, I think from Alex Jones himself, to come on his show and talk about data centers and all kinds of things, right? So I'm gonna put it up to you guys on the live chat. Should I do it? Should I pursue that? Or should I just hold back? Zen Woman says to do it. Guitar Lily in all caps with 7 T's and 4 exclamation points. She says, do it. What do you guys think on the TikTok? Should I join Alex Jones to talk about data centers, the Uniparty, the mafia cartel, the criminal organization that exists in Washington, D.C.? Lou Melcom says, yes, you should do it. Guitar Lily, go on his show, then invite him on to your show. Future Ez says, go for it. Mod Trend says, the art of the steal. Now, yeah, clones, I see you. Shannon Joy showing a video of Alex Jones showing a video of Shannon. It's great content here, right? I thought it was hilarious. Thank you guys so much. Hey, live free or perish. Great to see you on the live chat. Oh, Dino Fun says Alex Jones is controlled opposition. Well, who knows? You can never really know a person's heart. You can only know what they're going to present to you. I will say over the years, and this would be a question that I would ask Alex Jones, over the years when it really mattered, when his audience needed the truth, he wasn't there. Big disappointment to me in a lot of areas, especially with, Trump. It was so obvious from the very beginning that Donald Trump was a New York City liberal Democrat, had been his entire life, a complete liar and a complete crook. It was obvious that he was going to rug pull us on everything and be the Trojan horse that essentially, completely obliterates the Republican Party and any conservatives within the Republican Party. And he's proven to do that. I told you guys he was going to do this 10 years ago. All right. So I've been here in this space, very lonely, by the way, for 10 years. As everyone else, they fell for him the first time. And then amazingly enough, they fell for him a second time, which is just crazy. Zen Woman. Yeah. David Knight. So yeah, I would ask him. I have a lot of questions that I would love to ask people like Alex Jones and Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Like I would love to ask them about gaps in their reporting, right? What seem to be strategic gaps in their reporting. Remember, Tucker Carlson was the guy that got into his car in March of 2020 to drive to Mar-a-Lago, sit down with President Trump for like 2 or 3 or 4 hours and convince him to lock the country down. That's what Tucker Carlson did. I would love to ask Tucker about that, So yeah, I got a lot of questions, but I thought that was pretty cool. And it does mean that, we are pushing out this narrative that has been suppressed for so many years. As I mentioned, 10 years, I've been in this space. I haven't changed at all. Only now are people coming along. I mean, the Uniparty, I used to call them the unibrow. I mean, these are themes that have been very prevalent in my show for 10 years. I've had the show for 13 years. So I haven't changed at all, but around me, I'm hearing people like Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly reiterate and repeat the themes that we've been talking about for many, many years. So that's a good thing. I love that. I think that's great. Welcome to the party. Jump in. The water's warm, people. Let's go. I've been waiting forever for this. So do note, Abby, great to see you too. Yep. Buskman thinks I should go on the Alex Jones show as well. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that and maybe we will reach out to them. I'm going to go to a quick break though. We have a lot to get to. That was a long introduction to the show. We have a lot of content, a lot of meat on the bones today on the Shannon Joy Show in terms of all the bad things that are going down. Again, the theme, Trump's billionaire welfare queens, right? Criminal enterprise. Jared Kushner and his $1 billion land deal that is sparking a revolt in Albania. His connection to Jeffrey Epstein and why people are calling Jared Kushner Epstein 2.0. We have a rug pull to end all rug pulls. The story here about Sam Altman, Open AI. It's not just Sam Altman and his tech company. It's all of the AI companies, all of the tech companies. The tech bubble is about to burst. And they are scrambling to dump their stocks on the American people, retirees, your 401k, your pension. And they're using the president of the United States of America to accomplish this. It is criminal. And we're going to look at this zero hedge piece as well. And we have a couple other things as well to look at, some videos. So we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue the show right here on the SJ Show. All right, make sure that every time you shop at the satellite phone store, sat123.com/joy, joy, that is sat1. All right, make sure that every time you shop at the satellite phone store, sat123.com/joy, joy, that is sat123.com/joy, you are using the JOY promo code. That is going to get you at least 10% off your entire order. And if you're looking at products like generators or solar panels, if you're looking at a satellite phone and you're going to get a satellite phone subscription, those could be upwards over thousands of dollars. So that 10% discount is going to be huge. But they do have the entire line of Faraday products, the dark bags. So these are amazing. The Faraday technology not only protects you from harmful EMF radiation, but it also protects your phone from an EMP attack or any type of breakdown. So great products. The Faraday collection also shields you, protects you from the prying eyes of the federal government or the big tech bros. That's right. When you drop your phone or your device into a satellite phone store Faraday bag or backpack, you're off the grid. You are untraceable. They can't find you. And it gives you that added element of privacy while also protecting you from those harmful EMF radiation rays. So just really great technology, the best out there, and at the best prices when you use that JOY promo code. So sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. Hey everyone, I am so proud to recommend Shift Gold to this audience as the gold standard for metals purchasing and investing. I couldn't ask for a better partner to help people understand gold and silver and use them as strategic instruments to protect their family's financial future. Peter Schiff's teaching on markets has shaped my understanding of how economies grow and why they collapse. And I've used him as a critical source for my daily broadcast for over 10 years. The Shannon Joy Show audience already knows and loves Peter because he has been such a treasured educator over the years. He is now the preeminent source for rock-solid financial analysis around the world. And this is because he understands the immutable laws of natural markets and his stalwart unwillingness to veer from absolute truths regardless of economic fads and political pressures. Bottom line, he doesn't sell out. And that means a lot to me. I trust Shift Gold, and you can too. Go to shiftgold.com/joy today to get started. You'll find some of the lowest spot prices for gold and silver and critical information on protecting your retirement savings with a gold or silver IRA. That's www.shiftgold.com/joy. Hedge against the chaos with our friends over at Shift Gold. When you are shopping at the wellness company, make sure that you use the JOY promo code. It's going to get you lots of goodies, free shipping, a percentage off of your order every single time, whether it's an emergency kit or ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, whether it's a second opinion. So many people are benefiting from the telehealth that is provided at the wellness company. If you don't trust the opinion of your doctor, if you want a second opinion, if you don't trust a diagnosis, this is a way for you to go out, take control of your own health. You can get your own second opinion at the wellness company. The emergency medical kits are absolutely amazing. The contagion kit, every American needs an emergency medical kit in their home. It is an amazing source of peace of mind. You will have the life-saving prescriptions that you need, antibiotics, things like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Sometimes in an emergency situation, certain medications are hard to get on purpose. You don't have to worry about that when you are prepared with that emergency kit. In fact, one of the listeners of the Shannon Joy Show mentioned that she purchased her emergency care kit about 8 months ago and has already used it 3 times. How amazing is that? Sometimes you just need access to that prescription. You don't have time to get to the doctor. It's such an easy process. You go to twc.health/joy. That's twc.health/joy. And you sign up. You have a consultation with one of the wellness company doctors. They work out all of your prescriptions, get them ready for you. You assemble the kit, and it is in your home, on your doorstep, about a week and a half later. It is such an easy process. And with the Joy promo code, you're going to get $60 off your emergency kit. It is worth every penny. People absolutely love it. And you'll get $60 off plus free shipping when you go to twc.health/joy. That's twc.health/joy, and absolutely use that JOY promo code because it's a huge discount. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. And by the way, you can use the Joy discount code at TWC every time you shop. So it really helps the Shannon Joy Show. It helps us to fund this show when you guys patronize the advertisers of the Shannon Joy Show. So if you need a second opinion, if you need ivermectin, if you need an emergency kit, if you need any of their nutraceuticals or any of their products, every time you shop, please go to twc.health/joy. twc.health/joy. That's a portal to everything. And use the Joy promo code because you're always going to get a discount. And usually it's a discount plus free shipping as well. So Dino Fun, I see your comment here. Shannon hasn't had Peter McCullough on in a while. Actually, Dr. Peter McCullough is going to be slated to come on to the Shannon Joy Show. Not this month, but next month. We're going to have Dr. Drew on this month. And we're also going to welcome Peter Galuli, who is the CEO and one of the founders of the wellness company. He's amazing. And he's going to talk about the company, building parallel organizations, all the new stuff that they're bringing out. As you guys know, I vet my partners, my advertising partners very, very closely. I actually flew to Florida to meet with Peter, sit down with him and talk to him. And I cannot tell you how thankful I am for the very strong advertising partnerships that we have here at the SJ Show. So, oh my gosh, Buskman, amazing. Just helped a girl who is vaccine injured with the spike support from TWC. Oh my gosh, she was vaxxed 3 times, young girl too. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Oh gosh, and I see you as well. Who is starting the ivermectin protocol? Mama C 1996, you are going to love it. Medical grade cleanse with the ivermectin. It's a anti-parasitic protocol, and it is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So I'm glad to see that. You guys, Mama C 1996, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. So let's get to, and thank you guys so much. Those of you who have shared the SJ Show, if you've given this show a like, a thumbs up, a share, if you've joined the live chat, really glad that you are here today on all of the platforms. Love you guys on Substack and on YouTube. In the next break, I'm going to go check out the YouTube live chat, and we'll read some of your comments as well. So let's get in to one of the stories today that everyone needs to know about. This is one of the most important stories. This is one of the most underreported stories in the United States of America today. And the reason it's so important is that via executive order, via emergency declaration, and also legislation that has been passed in the big, beautiful bill and signed by the President of the United States of America, our Congress and this president and his administration, in collusion and collaboration with AI tech companies and the Magnificent Seven, I would call them the Sinister Seven, they are taking down the guardrails in terms of what your pension, your 401k can be invested in. And they're fast tracking things. They're taking away rules. They're removing liability in certain capacities. And we've touched on this on the Shannon Joy Show for the past 2, 3, 4 weeks in great detail. But we've been warning about this here on the show for many years, that, they are seeking to conduct what might be the biggest pump and dump and rug pull we've ever seen, as these worthless AI tech companies who have invested trillions of dollars with zero profit over the past couple years, a ton of hype, a ton of propaganda around all of this on both left-wing media and right-wing media. And they're paving the way for them to dump their bad businesses onto the American taxpayer via your pension, your retirement account, and your 401k. So that's what they're fixing to do right now. And we have one example of this that is just outrageous in this piece with Zero Hedge. And the title of the piece, so let me do this again. Sorry, I have to do something with TikTok. There we go. All right, I did it. The title of the piece, Sam Altman is now pushing a plan for a backdoor government backstop, essentially a bailout, okay, for his worthless company. And we can't start this discussion without explaining just how worthless these AI companies are and how the business just doesn't work. And there have been multiple stories over the past couple weeks. People are beginning to realize that the AI bubble, it was all hype. There was no there. We've been talking about this for many, many years on the SJ Show. Okay. So what we want to look at first, AI is being dumped by like very high profile companies, and it's accelerating. So we have companies like McDonald's and Uber and Starbucks. Even Microsoft itself is dumping AI because it is too expensive and it doesn't work. And what they're finding is that humans do the job better and cheaper than AI. And so this is, really rocking the industry. And that's why they're accelerating their desire to rush these IPOs and essentially get these $1 trillion valuations. We talked about SpaceX last week. We talked about OpenAI last week. They want to get $1 trillion valuations for their worthless companies. And when that happens and they go public with their IPOs, that then opens the door for pensions and 401k, fund managers to invest the index. And essentially they have to, there's certain rules about what has to be invested. If you're building retirement accounts for, a lot of people, there are certain rules. And one of them is you have to buy the index. And if these companies are then on the index, then, well, we're all on the hook. So that's a very simplified way to explain it, but we've gone into this in more detail. I would highly recommend you guys watch my show, not from last week, but the week before with Tiffany Cianci. She's an expert in this, and she explained exactly how this works. But essentially, these companies are ditching AI, and it's because of a lot of trends right now. So just in 2025 and 2026, there have been reports and studies and surveys done about, whether or not the implementation of AI is actually working. And this is pretty stunning. Okay, here are some key statistics. The S&P Global Market Intelligence, said they surveyed businesses. They said 42% of businesses have now scrapped. This is just in the past year and a half. 42% of businesses have now scrapped most of their AI initiatives that they started in 2024 or early 2025. This is up sharply from 17% in the prior year. On average, organizations are abandoning 46% of AI proof of concepts before production. This was the study from MIT, Project Nanda in 2025. They found, listen up to this, that 95% of generative AI pilots failed to deliver measurable profit and loss impact. Rand Corporation found this: over 80% of AI projects have failed to deliver intended business value. This is roughly double the failure rate of non-AI IT projects. And the breakdown often includes about 34% of abandoned pre-production, plus many that complete but deliver absolutely no value. Okay, this is from Gartner predictions. 60% of AI projects are lacking AI-ready data, and they will be abandoned through 2026. So they're conducting surveys with CEOs, CFOs, and founders of businesses that have adopted AI, and they're finding that 60% of the projects are lacking AI-ready data, and they will be abandoned in 2026. 30% of Gen AI projects abandoned post POC by the end of 2025, and 40% of agentic AI projects canceled by 2027. This is why they are scrambling to hand their company. They are like hemorrhaging money. There's no money there. We've been talking about the circular trading, the insider trading, the government prints money, like all of this hype. It is a massive bubble. And the reasoning here, the reason that CEOs are saying they're scrapping AI, a couple different reasons. The biggest one is that there's no return on investment, right? So there's massive spending. They're spending hundreds of billions of dollars globally on the compute, but little or no efficiency gains or profit improvements. They come with very high costs, and it's very complex. And they're beginning to see that there was a lot of hype, but there really isn't any there. And this is why we have these examples, right? Just recently, Starbucks, they retired their AI power computer vision inventory counting system. So Starbucks needs to count cups, and Starbucks spent a lot of money trying to get AI to count their cups. And Starbucks realized that humans could count cups better than AI could count cups. And so they're scrapping the whole thing, right? They said in just 9 months, Employees reported it was unreliable. It was miscounting, mislabeling items like milk types, and it was leading to inventory problems and a return to human-led methods. It rolled out to address stockouts, but caused more problems than solutions. All right. Uber is another big story that hit the headlines last week. They faced budget overruns with internal AI coding tools. They burned through a full 2026 budget because every time you compute with AI, it costs money. And people didn't realize this. They ran through their entire 2026 budget in just 4 months, despite encouraging usage via leaderboards. So the company now is reevaluating AI return on investment and automation plans amidst the high cost and major disruptions. This is really interesting. Pizza Hut. This is Yum Brands, a major franchisee sued over the Dragon Tail AI delivering and ordering system, claiming that it caused cascading delays, dropped on-time deliveries from 90% under 30 minutes to much worse, and customer loss resulting in $100 million in damages and lost sales. It gave drivers excessive visibility into kitchen ops, disrupting all of the workflows. So not only is it not delivering a return on investment, not only is it way more expensive than anyone imagined, not only does it deliver slop that usually needs to be fixed by humans, but in this case of Pizza Hut, it actually lost the company, about $100 million in disruptions and lost sales. Taco Bell, McDonald's, even Microsoft, as I mentioned, they canceled most of their internal licenses for Anthropic's Claude Code because it's too expensive. Okay, so they have these worthless companies with trillion-dollar valuations that they're going to get by cheating and hyping because they control the media and the presidency. So they're going to get sweetheart deals from the government. Guardrails are going to get taken down in terms of liability if they lose all of your money. They're going to allow these tech bros to offload their worthless companies onto Americans' pensions and retirement accounts. And that's going to happen in a couple months. And they're going to do that the second that they offload, they get the IPO, they hit the index, they get the $1 trillion valuation, they dump it on your pension. Guess where these guys are? They're out the door. They've taken their profits. You get the losses. It's insane. And this is why this zero hedge piece is so critical of Sam Altman and Open AI. Right now, they are burning through huge amounts of cash to build massive AI systems that don't work, that companies are offloading. And everyone in the know knows this. The American people do not, because most Americans are watching MSNBC or CNN or Fox Business or Bloomberg or Fox News. And the major media outlets have not acknowledged this. In fact, they have been helping the tech bros and this administration pump up these stocks, hide the insider trading, hide the circular investing, hide the instability of these companies from the American public. Right. And now they're saying us, oh, guess what, Americans, you get to be stakeholders. We're going to give the little guy an opportunity to invest in these really great AI companies. Meanwhile, they are about to rug pull. It is a rug pull to end all rug pulls. And it is aimed squarely at every pension and every 401k in the country. This is why this is the most important story in the nation that no one is reporting on, except for me. And I'm not even a financial expert. But I can figure out when we're being scammed. Everyone should be able to figure out when we're being scammed. So OpenAI. So this is a summary of the Zero Hedge article, which is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. Sam Altman's company, OpenAI, okay, it's the biggest. It's like the biggest of all of the AI companies, okay? They're spending just an insane amount of cash to build these massive AI systems. And they have very ambitious plans that, they say will cost trillions. But right now, their revenue, not only are they not making any revenue, they are losing money. They're hemorrhaging money. Okay. So now a couple months ago, their CFO hinted at the US government maybe providing them with a backstop, with a guarantee on their loans so they could borrow cheaply. And basically, if things go wrong, then, the taxpayers will step in and pay their debts, which is crazy. Altman, walked it back because there was such a major backlash. So this is from the piece. And the name, it was Susan Fryer. I don't know if you remember, it was a few months ago in November, amid mounting speculation that OpenAI's massive cash burn was massively unsustainable. This is Zero Hedge. It's linked in the show notes. In light of the $1.4 trillion in funding commitments by the AI company, which in turn has sparked the biggest CapEx flood in modern history, all on the hope that the company's promised payments will be made good. OpenAI CFO Sarah Fryer sparked a market sell-off when, amidst an admission that OpenAI was looking for an ecosystem of banks and private equity to support its ambitious plans, she explicitly said that the U.S. government would have to backstop the guarantee that allows the financing to happen. So basically put the United States government and the taxpayers on the line for those loans. So when they don't come due and OpenAI and Sam Altman, when they default, we're left with the loans, the United States taxpayers. It's crazy. Okay. So everyone revolted around that. It caused a sell-off. So, fast forward, and this is what she said, that federal loan guarantees would really drop the cost of financing, of course, and this is why the headline of today's show is, all of Trump's billionaire welfare queens. Because essentially they're building their business. These are not great business people. They're just stealing our money and they're building it on the backs of taxpayers. And very shortly, if people don't revolt, on the backs of retirees and pensioners. So anyway, the market clearly was not enthusiastic about that statement by Sarah Fryer. And so now they've changed their plans. And they're renaming it. So they're taking this, the same concept, and then they're just trying another way to explain it away to the American people. They're trying to trick us, to scam us into, investing in their businesses. So after the market vividly demonstrated that it was less than enthused by the proposal, they decided, the company promptly shelved any discussion of a taxpayer bailout / backstop, a federal loan guarantee, and even prompted a tweet from Sam Altman saying that, Sarah didn't really know what she's talking about, right? So all of that changed, though, last week when Donald Trump caught much of the AI industry by surprise, as they write here in Zero Hedge, when he threw his weight behind a radical idea, a radical proposal for companies such as OpenAI to hand equity stakes to hand equity stakes to the American people. So elements of the idea, which started as a fringe argument on the progressive left, have recently drawn support from an unlikely cast of characters, including Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, and Bernie Sanders. So what they're looking to do essentially is partner the American government through taxpayers and your pensions, partner with these massive AI companies that make no money, provide no value, and they even say themselves they're going to take all of your jobs, which they're not, right? Because they're going to go bankrupt. But they're going to partner with the American people to take equity stakes, or to have the American people take equity stakes in these companies. They say that this would involve setting up a sovereign wealth style fund into which AI companies would contribute equity so that the American public can share in the loss-making sector's soaring valuations. What was left unsaid, says Zero Hedge, is that while the American public would share in the soaring valuations, they would also share in the AI sector's continued losses, and more importantly, would be on the hook for hundreds of billions of dollars in commitments if OpenAI is unable to fund them. So what they're going to do is give these companies trillion with a T, $1 trillion valuations so that they can go public. They don't deserve trillion-dollar valuations. This is criminal. They don't deserve million-dollar valuations because they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars every single month in some cases. So the government is going to collude, they're going to cheat to give Elon Musk in SpaceX, Sam Altman in OpenAI, and a handful of others trillion-dollar valuations that they do not deserve. They're going to say to the American people, oh my gosh, look, Mr. Pensionee or pensioner, look, Mr. Retiree, they're going to get trillion-dollar valuations. And now you have the opportunity to invest in those trillion-dollar valuations with your 401k or your pension. And in some cases, they're not even going to ask you because your funds, in certain cases, these funds are automatically invested in companies that are on the index, which they are once they get that IPO, right? So they get the trillion-dollar valuation, they get the IPO, they go public, and they're on the index. That's when they pull out. They probably are in the process of pulling out already, and they're going to leave it with the retirees. So they're going to dangle these trillion-dollar valuations in front of, fund managers and pension managers. And in some cases, they're going to have to invest in these companies, and they're going to commit the ultimate pump and dump and rug pull. It's crazy. Auto invested Dino fund sounds like fraud. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the rules are. I don't know exactly. It's very complicated. But from what I'm able to understand, once a company goes public and they're on the index, right? It's basically automated investing, and they automate the investment for a lot of 401ks and pensions. And in some cases, there are federal laws. I believe there are laws that dictate that that fund managers have to invest a certain percentage of the retirement accounts in index funds. So I'm not sure how people can get out of it. As Tiffany Cianci mentioned, if you guys are watching right now, if you have a pension, if you have a 401k, I don't think the IRAs are as susceptible to these, but there are going to be a lot of sales. I mean, there are going to be a lot of salespeople out there trying to push these, and they're going to say it's because of these big trillion-dollar valuations that are coming. What they're not going to tell you is that the moment they go public and they get that trillion-dollar valuation, man, everyone who got in at the beginning is going to get right out. And then when the chickens come home to roost and everyone realizes that AI is a bunch of slop and doesn't make any money, these companies are going to collapse. And we're going to be on the hook for them. That's basically the bottom line. And it's terrible. It's criminal. It is absolutely criminal. Fez Woody, public-private partnership. We pay, they profit. Yes, too big to fail. Johnny Reb, 1860, 100%. This is full-scale fascism, only worse. Like, they're purposefully going to bankrupt an entire generation of retirees. It's crazy if they get away with it. Now, that's not to say that this is inevitable. People are figuring this out and waking up. And there are more and more people talking about this, especially on X, which is great news. But if you are watching right now and you are a retiree, or you have a loved one who is a retiree and they're only watching CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or Fox Business, they're not going to know about this. You might want to have a conversation with them, and they might want to have a conversation with their fund managers, because I do believe that there are ways that you can protect yourself. I encourage you guys to go back, look up the interview that I did with Tiffany Cianci just a week and a half ago, where she explained all of this and she basically explained exactly what you need to do and what you need to say to your fund manager. So that's about a week and a half old. And it is a casino. Donald Trump admitted this a couple months ago. He said, well, someone, accused him of the pump and dumps and the entire insider trading and all of the cheating and all of the gambling. And he's like, well, the whole world's a casino now. Welcome to Trump's, welcome to the Trump presidency. Everything's a casino. Yeah, Ali Robin 9. Meet the new bubble, same as the old bubble. Not really the same, though, Ali Robin 9, because I don't think they ever had this much access to pensions and 401ks. There were multiple mechanisms that Trump deployed in the first year and a half of his presidency. There have been a few executive orders. I think the emergency declaration regarding an energy crisis and also the AI arms race with China That was an emergency declaration, which gives them a whole host of opportunities to do terrible things to we the people because, well, we have an emergency. A declaration of war could open things up for them to really abuse us, we the people, the taxpayers, and then obviously provisions in the big beautiful bill and the removal of liability from fund managers if they lose all of your money. Like right now, there are certain protections for retirees. If a fund manager goes in and loses all of your money, like in a casino, they don't just get away with it. Like you have protections put in place. They've taken down some of those protections. Maybe we'll go into that tomorrow, exactly what they've done. I probably should do that because I've been reporting on this as we've been moving along. So I think I've done maybe 5 or 6 or 7 reports over the past year and a half as they've chipped away at the guardrails that have been constructed to protect retirees and pension holders. And so I haven't done a cumulative like they did this, and this. And so that would probably be a good show. So maybe I'll do that for tomorrow or maybe I'll do that later on this week because that would be helpful, I think. But yeah, it's crazy. Good luck out there, everyone. Like, be careful. And if you haven't talked to your fund manager, if you haven't talked to the person who's running your retirement accounts, you might want to do that ASAP. But great piece from Zero Hedge if you want to do a deep dive. It's linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. When we come back, we're going to talk about Jared Kushner. Is he Jeffrey Epstein 2.0? Jared and Ivanka, I call them Jarvanka. I named them Jarvanka about 10 years ago because it seemed to me about 10 years ago that Jared was running the Trump presidency and handling President Trump. And so we did a bunch of shows and deep dives on Jared Kushner about 10 years ago, but I haven't done one in a while. And I'm really thrilled because my good friend, well, he's not my good friend. I don't know JP Sears, but I feel like he's my good friend because he's super funny and I use his stuff a lot. But he did a great video. It's a 14-minute video deep dive on Jared Kushner, exactly who he is, how much power he wields, and who his father is. It's absolutely astounding. But this $1 billion island bunker deal that Jared and Ivanka are looking to close in Albania, this is sparking a full-scale revolt, okay? And the Albanian people have been turning out for multiple days and weeks as they are protesting this insane deal for a variety of reasons. So we're going to find out exactly who Jared is. And I'm going to play a little bit of that piece from JB Sears because it's pretty instructive. And I mean, he's something. He's not a friend of the United States of America. That is for sure. And he's a dirty dealer. And he's a crook and a criminal, like they all are. But you're going to see that. We'll explain exactly how that works when we come back right here on the Shannon Joy Show. So keep it tuned right here. We'll be back in a minute to continue the show. Hey, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to thank one of my longtime friends, associates, my financial advisor, and a beloved sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, Don Polano over at PCM and Associates. Don Polano, as many of you know, was the very first Shannon Joy Show advertiser almost 12 years ago, and he's been with us ever since. I trust Don Polano. He manages some of my assets and my retirement fund, and he's offering his services to all of you. He can take clients anywhere in the country and even across the globe over at PCM and Associates. And as you guys know, it is so important today. There's so much volatility and chaos. You need a human being, a person that you trust, and a person that shares your values. And that's Don Polano at PCM and Associates. So if you are looking for someone to help you manage your retirement or have investment advice, please consider calling Don Polano over at PCM and Associates. His number, 1-800-536-1368. That's 1-800-536-1368. And of course, you can go to PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com to learn about all of his services and get in contact with his team. Again, so thankful for Don Polano at PCM and Associates. And I think that you are really going to appreciate his services. So that number again, 1-800-536-1368 for a financial advisor that you can trust. please head over to theshannonjoy.com, theshannonjoy.com. This is my independent platform. It is my website. I own it. And the email list that I have created with all of you, those of you who have signed up for the Shannon Joy daily email, it is so important. It's the most critical element in terms of my connection to all of you. Should I be deplatformed on YouTube or Twitter or Rumble or any of the platforms that we are pushed out on today, it is my one line to all of you. It's where I can contact you directly and let you know where to find the show. I will never forget the censorship of 2020. I was permanently suspended on Twitter. I was completely shadow banned on Facebook. I lost the entirety of both audiences in the span of 30 days. In the early days of the Shannon Joy Show, I was completely yanked off of a radio station because I continued to critique Donald Trump, and it was a right-wing radio station. Overnight, I lost my entire platform. Thank God 10 years ago, or was 8 years ago, I had built up a presence on Twitter and Facebook and was able to continue the show until I moved it to another platform, a 50,000 watt radio station just down the road. But I am very familiar with being deplatformed and it happening very fast. That email list is everything. It is my pipeline to all of you. So if you haven't signed up for the SJ email list, please do so today. Go to theshannonjoy.com. That is theshannonjoy.com, and make sure that we're connected. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Final segment. We have about 10 minutes left in the Shannon Joy Show, and I want to end the show with a bit of the video from J.P. Sears. He is a comedian. He's been doing really great work. He was on the Trump train. He's now off of the Trump train for a variety of reasons, mainly all of the broken promises. And he's been exposing the connections between AIPAC, Israel, the United States government, and Donald Trump. And they are criminal in nature. They are criminal in nature. And he's been doing a really good job in a very understandable way. But he recently did a just pretty brilliant expose on Jared Kushner and a deep dive on where he came from and who he is. He has an insane amount of power. And he's married to Ivanka Trump, that is Donald Trump's daughter. And, his background is quite concerning. Most recently, Jared Kushner and Ivanka have sparked major protests in the country of Albania. They erupted in early June in Albania, primarily in the capital and in southern coastal areas. They are protesting Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners investment firm. This project, it's an island in Albania. It's valued at $1.4 billion. We heard Ivanka talking about it. I played that video for you last week about how they found the island. They were partying with the Rothschilds on their yacht during lockdowns of all things, right? So while we were triple masked, locked down, forced jabbed, we were losing everything, Jared and Ivanka were partying with the Rothschilds on a yacht outside the coast of Albania and just happened to find this beautiful, beautiful island with 3,600 underground bunkers, by the way. Okay. Interestingly enough. And, so they're going to, build their, I guess, their dream home, but it's not just a dream home. It's like a luxury resort. And maybe it's their bug out island. Maybe it's where they're going to go when they rug pull everyone and just destroy everything. Who knows? But this has turned out, we've had rolling protests now and against the Prime Minister, Eddie Rama. I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, he apparently brokered this deal, and they're basically, they've been thousands upon thousands of Albanians turning out in rolling protests. And they are still going. They have now continued. They're still going today. They've been reported. Guardian, New York Times, BBC, AP are reporting on these tensions, and they're pushing back. They're saying, oh, hell no. So this is now creating more scrutiny on Jared Kushner. This is a 14-minute, it's actually a 16-minute video, but I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play the introduction because it sets it up. And I've linked this video. It's funny. It's informative. It's everything that JP Sears is, and he just does a great job of explaining what is really going on. But this deep dive on Jared Kushner, I'm going to play the beginning, and then I'm going to go into an overview as to what we will find in the video, and you guys can link on it and watch it yourself if you want. But this is what he had to say. Take a look.
Do you know who Jared Kushner really is? People are calling him the new Jeffrey Epstein. For a reason. There's a lot about Jared Kushner you probably don't know and that he doesn't want you to know. But we're going to spill the beans tonight. Here's just a quick preview rundown of his resume. He's currently making waves for the new private island he wants to develop in Albania that has Albania revolting. And a fraud investigation opened up on. Kushner also has a major role in the Trump administration. On behalf of the U.S. government, he negotiates with the Middle East governments that his firm also takes major investments from. Kushner has also been the central negotiator in the Iran war and on ceasefires and peace deals, which have all fallen through because he's a good negotiator. He's got Epstein connections. And if you love what the government of Israel is doing, then you can thank Jared Kushner for it because he's helping them do more than anybody else. And Kushner's father committed what the former U.S. attorney for New Jersey called one of the most loathsome, disgusting crimes he had ever handled. Jared Kushner currently shapes foreign policy in the Middle East more than anybody else, even more than President Trump. So while Jared Kushner might not want you to know much about him, probably because he's just humble, I thought tonight we'll help you get to know him better, much better, in our special Meet Jared Kushner report, starting with his very popular private island project. Kushner's wife, Ivanka.
All right, so that's just the brief intro, and he goes through all of those elements in the video. It's 16 minutes. I've linked it in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show, so you guys can grab it. Buskman, I see you. Love JP. He used to be a goofy lefty. Then he became Trumpy. Now he's a normal thinker again. I guess everyone kind of goes through that process, right? Used to be right, then became left, then realized that they're both in on it together, and then actually deploys like common sense thinking. I hope that's the case with JP. I think he's doing a really good job. But in essence, I'm going to go through some of the more shocking elements of this video that JP put together. First and foremost, we need to talk about how highly influential, hugely influential Jared Kushner is. Now, as you guys know, for those of you who have been with me on the Shannon Joy Show for the past 13 years, you know that I coined the term Jarvanka about 10 years ago because there were already elements of Jared Kushner exerting control over President Trump in his first administration. And I did many stories on Jared and his background and who he was and what a bad guy he was. Fell on deaf ears, of course, as the Republican Party and conservative movement went like lockstep in for it. But, you know, I guess it takes 10 years for people to figure this out. But he has an enormous amount of power. He is unelected. Obviously, you know, he is, he is in the capacity of negotiating major deals. And he has a big role in terms of forming Middle East policy. His firm takes investments from the same governments that he's negotiating with, which is a completely unethical and illegal, immoral conflict of interest, right? I mean, it's just crazy. He has taken part in the negotiations, the multiple failed Iran ceasefire and peace negotiations and the ceasefire and peace deals. As we know, most of those deals resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in payouts for people because they're manipulating the market while they're also faking a ceasefire or a peace deal. And so he's been involved in a lot of those. He's taking $60 million every year from Saudi Arabia. Okay. And that's while he's also negotiating. He also has the ear of the president. I mean, yeah. Futurez, I see you on the live chat. We're going to get to that in just a minute. So right now, here's a scandal regarding Albania. They are developing, as I mentioned, luxury resort. It has 3,600 underground bunkers. Okay. And the deal was brokered on a Rothschild yacht with the Albanian prime minister and is being financed by Middle East money. again, we know that Kushner has taken $60 million every year from the Saudis. And he's also taking money in other areas as well. He is now, because of this deal, it has triggered massive public protests, and it is under active corruption and fraud investigation, property fraud and fake titles, and his assets have been frozen by Albania's anti-organized crime unit. Organized crime, cartels, the mob, criminal operations. This is what we're dealing with. This is what I headlined the show with to start today. Okay. In plain sight. This type of criminal operation makes Hunter Biden and Joe Biden blush. Okay. What they did pales in comparison to what we are seeing, fraud in plain sight and crime in plain sight today. So this is what is triggering these massive rolling protests in Albania. And of course, Jared Kushner has strong ties to the Rothschilds. In fact, it is public knowledge that the deal was brokered on a Rothschild yacht. Okay, so Kushner also shapes Middle East policy, and JP in this video argues even more than Donald Trump himself. So while he's negotiating with governments on behalf of the U.S., Jared Kushner, unelected, making a ton of money, while he's negotiating deals for the U.S., his private equity firm, Affinity Partners, is taking huge investments from those same countries. $2 billion or more from the Saudi crown prince. So it's just $60 million in fees every year, but they're also getting investments from them. $110 million total from the Saudi government. So he's getting money from the prince. He's getting money from the government. A House Oversight Committee has issued a report, and they're saying that Jared Kushner is collecting tens of millions of dollars in fees with little or no return for investors. And the advisors also warn Saudis against the fees, yet they invested anyway. So there is now a House Oversight Committee report on this. There is a criminal investigation opened in a corruption fraud investigation opened in Albania. And Jared Kushner, who announced that he would stop seeking foreign capital to avoid conflicts of interest in 2025, has completely gone back on his word. He hasn't stopped any of that. In fact, he is continuing to raise another $5 billion. Very closely aligned with the Israeli government. And I mean, it's insane. His father, this is really interesting. His father was a real estate developer. This is crazy. Okay. Yes, strident conservative, I see you. Jared's father, Charles, is a convicted felon. Yes, he is, who received a pardon from President Trump before being made ambassador to France in Trump's second term. So Jared, wait till you hear this. Jared Kushner's father, okay? He was a real estate developer. He pled guilty to 18 felonies: tax fraud, illegal campaign donations, false statements, and witness tampering. And the way that the witness tampering went down was this. Apparently, Jared Kushner's father, again, Jared married to Ivanka. Ivanka's Trump's daughter. He has an enormous amount of power. He's making billions upon billions of dollars, and he's negotiating deals on behalf of the American people. He's unelected, but he's running much of the foreign policy for the Trump administration. Mind-blowing. No oversight, because it's not in an official capacity. So he's brokering ceasefires and peace deals while skimming off the top in no official capacity. So there's no oversight, no congressional oversight, no rules or laws governing conflicts of interest, because he's just Donald Trump's son-in-law, right? The idea that I think it's reasonable for people to question, whether or not he's negotiating on behalf of the American people or on behalf of the Trumps and their own interests and the interests of their cronies. I mean, this is crazy. It's crazy. But so his dad, right, is, pled guilty to 18 felonies. And it turns out that his dad's sister and her husband were cooperating with authorities in terms of building a case against Charles Kushner, who is Jared Kushner's father. And so in retaliation, Charles Kushner set them up. He hired a prostitute. I kid you not. He hired a prostitute to seduce his brother-in-law in a motel, then filmed it with hidden cameras to use for blackmail, and use that to blackmail his own sister and her husband so that they would not work with the authorities. Well, it turns out they worked with the authorities anyway, and that's how he got the witness tampering charge as well. They put him in prison. He went to jail, and Donald Trump in 2020 pardoned him. Now, this is, reminiscent of Jeffrey Epstein era blackmail techniques, right? You get people compromised, you take pictures, and then you use those pictures or those videos to control them. And we haven't even, we can't even get to all of that because Donald Trump has so effectively suppressed the release of many of the Epstein documents. But even what we know as of now, this was basically how Jeffrey Epstein operated. He has a lot of Epstein connections. Oh, here's this. His ties to Israel. His long personal relationships with Bibi Netanyahu, who has stayed at Kushner Properties. He brokered the Abraham Accords, which supports Israeli expansion, sidelines Palestine. Affinity Partners is his firm. It invests in hardline Zionist Israeli companies. So likely, AIPAC, the organizations that came up against Thomas Massie in Kentucky, Jared Kushner was probably involved in that. Crazy stuff. And then, he invited convicted sex offender Epstein to a 2013 Four Seasons gala event. The island deal that he brokered was on the same Rothschild yacht that Epstein represented. And this is sparking rumors and assumptions that Jared Kushner might be the next Jeffrey Epstein. And, the whole island, the bunkers, all of the things. It's just terrible. Yeah, it's an old story, same old story over and over. It's just worse, Zen woman. It's worse than it's ever been, in my opinion. And what's crazy is that, this is all happening in plain sight. They're not even hiding it. So it's criminality, corruption, crime in plain sight, and essentially on the backs of the American people, the American poor, the middle class, upper middle class, small businesses. They just crush us over and over and over. They crush us over and over and over and hand the money to their cronies. And unless, as you guys know, I'm gonna sing this tune until I'm blue in the face, until we rip ourselves out of that two-party political paradigm and understand that the Democrats and the Republicans work together, right? They're always pushing the boundaries towards more criminality. There was much discussion about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and pay-to-play sweetheart deals, essentially selling secrets or selling access to the highest bidder in Ukraine and other countries. Like, there was an enormous amount of scrutiny on the right when it came to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and the criminality there and the corruption there. That pales in comparison to what we're seeing with the Trump administration. And you just can see how each administration, whether it's left or right, continues to push the boundaries of criminality for their crony class in DC, for their criminal cartel in DC, right? But because they keep us divided, right now, Republicans and conservatives are protecting the criminals in DC, Donald Trump and his family and his cronies. Right. And then, but if you go back to the Biden administration, the left protected the Biden administration, right? Because we're so afraid of each other, we let these guys get away with increased criminality. And this is why things are going so badly here. So this is why people get really irritated with me, because I'm like a dog on a bone with this, with the Uniparty and people realizing that they work together. There's no way out. There's no way out other than opposing both of these parties. And so that's why organization is so important. This is why we're going to keep a close eye on what Thomas Massie is doing. We're going to find those great independent outlets where you guys can get good information outside of the two-party political spectrum, outside of right-wing news media and left-wing news media. That's where we sit every day here in the Shannon Joy Show. And there are a lot of people out there like me producing really great content. JP Sears is one of them. Tomorrow, we're going to welcome Owen Schroyer on the Shannon Joy Show. We're going to learn from him. He's another growing independent with a massive platform and doing really, really great work. We're going to feature him tomorrow for a full hour on the Shannon Joy Show. We have Dr. Joe Sansone, who's going to be with us on Wednesday this week. We're going to talk about political cults and the manipulation and how this country, a nation of people, have been sucked into the two-party political cult system and how we can break out of it and how you can protect yourself from those political cults. That's Joe Sansone on Wednesday. It's going to be a great show. And then the pushback, bottom-up, localized organization and pushback to the massive build-out of the data centers that are really just land grabs, as we mentioned earlier in the show today. It's all about the land. That's what they want, but they're pretending they're going to put big Manhattan-style data centers on the land. Well, one woman is pushing back. She is on a mission to save her mother's home, along with 300 other homes in the red state of Georgia. Her name is Ainsley Brown, and she's going to be joining us on that topic on Thursday. So we have a lot of great special guests this week on the SJ Show. I had a great time with you guys today. You are amazing. Thank you to everyone who watched the show. If you like the show, please right now on Rumble, give us a thumbs up and share with everyone you know. Join the live chat. It helps to grow that algorithm. Thank you to everyone who's been watching on YouTube, the big TikTok audience. You guys are great. 10.1 thousand views on TikTok today. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We have upwards over 500 live listeners and viewers today, which is really great. Those are super numbers. And we're growing everywhere, but it's that algorithm. When you like the show, comment on the show, share it out with your friends. That's how we grow. So Bill Benz is super excited about Dr. Joe Sansone. He's amazing. Futurez, Shannon needs to get Max Blumenthal on her show. Okay, I'll look into that. 100%. Give me some recommendations for who you want me to bring on the show, and I'll take that into account. Gaelic Monkey, great to see you on the live chat on Rumble. Shannon, follow Anthon7 Andrews on X. He has all the receipts from years on Jared or on Jared Trump. No, okay. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll take a look at it. Gaelic Monkey, thank you. Do Not Obey, thank you for being with us today. Futurez, this has been going on for decades, just more in the open now, and the people are more educated. Yeah, we're in very, very, very interesting times, for sure. So Suavek, thank you for being with us on the live chat. H Baird 36, thank you for being with us as well. Skillful Lark, appreciate you. And Zen Woman, Shannon, fantastic show as usual. God bless this mess. Well, we got to fight back, don't we? And again, as I mentioned, I have 3 kids. They need liberty, and that's why we do this every single day. So thank you guys so much for being with us today on the show. Make sure you join us tomorrow. We'll be back again to do it all again on the SJ Show tomorrow. Keep it tuned. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.